Welcome to Click for Biology. We're looking at plant nutrition, photosynthesis, and we're considering the uptake of minerals in the process. And our focus is going to be on nitrates and magnesium. If you would like a copy of this presentation, it's linked into the description of the video down below as a PDF. So let's take a look at these minerals used in photosynthesis. Now, we already have an understanding that photosynthesis uses the substrate of carbon dioxide and water to form glucose, and that oxygen gas is produced as a waste. Now, glucose, of course, can be joined into chains, and this is what plants will do. They'll join them into chains and store their glucose as starch. That starch, or the molecules like this, can also be modified to give us things like cellulose, which is part, of course, of the plant cell wall. All of these are our carbohydrates. So photosynthesis is classically known to produce glucose, but glucose is then combined together to give us all the different carbohydrates that the plant needs in its biology. Now, the other molecule which is essential for plants to produce are amino acids, because amino acids, like glucose, are joined together in sequences to form molecules called proteins. However, amino acids and proteins contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, just like carbohydrate, but they also require nitrogen. The type and source of nitrogen is nitrate. Now, if we do the ion for nitrate, that is NO3-, and you might recognize that from your chemistry course. Nitrate is absorbed from the soil. Plants have roots, and they have extensions to their root cells. You can see this one here. This is called a root hair cell. And notice that the wall and the cell membrane of the root hair cell has an extension. And of course, that means an increase in surface area for absorption. Now, the nitrate is present on the soil particles, and they are taken up into the root hair cells and then transported from the root through the stem and out to the leaf tissue. That nitrate is the source of nitrogen to allow us to make amino acids, and the amino acids are joined together to give the plant protein. And of course, we would be aware that protein is essential for growth. To allow all of this to occur, we need to have effective photosynthesis. And photosynthesis depends on the presence of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the molecule in the chloroplasts of the leaf and responsible for the absorption of light energy to drive photosynthesis. The molecule chlorophyll contains within it magnesium. The magnesium is also taken up by root hair cells from soil, transported from the root up through the stem, and then out to particularly the palisade cells in the palisade mesophyll layer, where it uses this to manufacture chlorophyll so that the plant can continue to absorb light in the process of photosynthesis. Let's just add one extra mineral beyond the syllabus, which is the mineral phosphate. This is a fairly complex ion, PO4, with a charge of 3 minus. Now I mention this because the phosphate, like the nitrate and the magnesium, is taken up by the root hair cells, transported by the stem, and then up to the leaf. And the kind of things that phosphate is involved in is the synthesis of DNA, and it's also an important aspect of cell membranes. Very important mineral. And just one final point is that the absorption of carbon dioxide gas and water from the roots, along with the minerals so that we can build carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids, phospholipids in this case, means that photosynthesis is responsible for creating the mass of all these molecules. And in biology, we call this biomass, which is an important link to your study of ecology. So just a little bit extra there on the phosphates. 3 minutes on some straightforward questions, 1 to 4. Stop the video, pause the video, answer your questions, check your answers in the description. It will really help you to do, when you do this, to learn the content. And then when you've done that, we can proceed to the channel link, where you could always subscribe and give us a thumbs up for this video, a link to the playlist, and of course, a link to the next recommended video.